Hi, welcome to Portage County Matters. I'm Patty Dreier, Portage County Executive. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. My guest today is Paul Baker. He's our Director of Emergency Management in Portage County, and I'm looking forward to having you get to know him in the interview today. Let's start with a few news notes first. Citizen appointments. As I mentioned in the last show, we have some citizen appointments available in Portage County. All of these appointments come with mileage and per diem payments, so it's an opportunity for somebody, I hope, to step up into a citizen committee opportunity to help shape the future of Portage County. We have an opportunity for someone to be on our Housing Authority board. The person who would be selected for this board would need to be living in their life right now on a housing voucher and basically using the programs that this board oversees. So if you're one of those individuals, I hope you'll call our office at 715-346-1997. I mentioned last time that we have a position on our Aging and Disability Resource Center board. This is for someone age 65 and older. And finally, I mentioned at the last show as well that we have a Board of Adjustment alternate position available. This is someone who needs to live in a township in Portage County and have some awareness of land use or legal or zoning kinds of issues. This individual will need to come from either the town of Albin, the town of Almond, the town of Belmont, the town of Buena Vista, the town of Lanark, the town of New Hope, the town of Plover, town of Sharon, or town of Stockton, for we can't have a representative that's already coming from a municipality where one of the current board members comes from. So if you're one of those individuals, you'd like to learn more about these positions and their responsibilities, and again, to help shape the future of Portage County government, I hope that you will give my office a call and talk to Jamie about it. She'll give you an application to apply at 715-346-1997. Thanks. Another bit of news. This was great news this week. As of the taping of this show, it's about the first days of fall this week, and we just got the news that the Portage County Healthcare Center has earned 4 stars, a 4-star rating. It's a federal rating. It's a very difficult achievement to get to 4 stars, and we are there. So I have to congratulate the staff there and the other staff in Portage County government, as well as other leadership, in helping to guide the Portage County Healthcare Center toward its 4-star rating. We're on our way to 5 stars. That's what we aspire to achieve. In the past year, we were a 3-star facility. So this means it's a quality rating. I hope you'll give serious consideration if you do need healthcare, skilled healthcare services. Maybe you had a knee replaced, or maybe you have a relative who has dementia you can't take care of anymore at home, or maybe there's someone that needs end-of-life care, hospice care. These are opportunities for folks to come to the Portage County Healthcare Center. We do have private rooms as well as shared rooms. There are many great quality services at the home, the Portage County Healthcare Center on Whiting Avenue. Please check it out. I hope you do. Budget 2015. We're in the final stages of budget development as we march toward the October 7th budget presentation that I'll be giving to you and the rest of the community at 5 p.m. in the county courthouse. The budget has been balanced for the last week or so, and I'm really proud of the effort that we've put in county government through the departments and the department leadership to achieve the goal that I set for the budget. We'll actually reduce our tax rate in Portage County in this proposed budget. It's time, when the county executive shares the budget on October 7th, to basically open the window for lots of input to help to continue to shape it and make it even better. I'm sure by the time we're all done and the end of the year comes around, we'll be even in a better situation for setting the priorities in Portage County that you, the people, believe in. So I hope that you will attend that session if you can, or you'll maybe watch a video of the county board meeting site on October 7th when I deliver that presentation, or you'll download from our county website the budget packet the budget overview, or we'll call it the budget in brief document, and take a look, as well as my presentation document, which will be posted. Those are really good resources. Plus we have books of the budget available if you want to stop into the county clerk's office after that date of October 7th, or stop into the finance office, or even my office, and we'll make sure that we set you up with an opportunity to flip through the pages. I promise you there's lots of good information in there. Again, it's your budget, not mine. I'm doing my best to deliver you a good starting point, and it's your time to take it from there. Thank you. EMS is another news point I wanted to make at the top of the show today. As you know, we have a countywide EMS system. We talked about it in other shows. We've really visited this topic quite a bit. We talked about how we have cardiac survival rates in this county that beat other places because we have a very fine system. We're also working through some issues that you probably read about in the news, and we will continue to work through those issues. My goal is to retain a county-wide system because there's a lot of coordination across the different units that are all participating in making sure that we're doing our best to save lives, to be responsive as we can to the people of this county. I attended a Towns Association meeting on September 22nd, and about 2 hours of conversation was held related to our countywide system. The Towns Association is made up of nearly every town and outlying village of our county, and it's a great networking opportunity and a great place to get a collective voice from our towns and village officials around the remote parts of Portage County. You know, outside of the metro, I would call it. Okay, and the towns requested, I just wanted to share with you, the towns requested that when I participate in the upcoming negotiations or pre-negotiation sessions related to countywide EMS, that I bring forward the request that they have a stronger voice in helping to shape those design solutions in the future. I plan to bring that forward on Friday of the week of this taping, which is, I believe it should be the 26th of September. We'll see how things go as we pursue the designs that can resolve some of the issues that we're encountering while we maintain the strengths of our awesome system. So look for more information coming soon. Transitioning to the topic of groundwater and groundwater listening sessions. You may have read that in the newspaper as well, that I'm hosting listening sessions around Portage County. There will be 10 sessions over the next 5 or so months of time. These listening sessions will be held in a number of locations in every quadrant of the county a couple of times, and what we'll be doing is inviting anyone to attend. So I hope that you'll come to one or even more than one, because wherever we are at these sessions, we'll tell the local story related to how water works in that particular area. So if you're in the southwest part of the county, the way that water functions and works and surface waters interact with the systems in that part of the county are very different from the northeast part of the county. So again, this is a chance for you to learn something about water, to gain some groundwater basics, and then to have a chance to weigh in on what you believe is going well with water, no pun intended on that one, and what's not going as well as you would wish it would be related to water in Portage County. And then also vision about the future. So I hope you'll come. If you can't come, I promise I'll be publishing a cumulative report of what we've gathered through all of these sessions at our very final point near February timeframe, and then we'll also have a listening session at which I share that cumulative result of the inputs gathered. Then this will all lay the foundation to create the action strategies for a groundwater management plan for Portage County. We're in the process of revising that document, and so these listening sessions are really part of a comprehensive planning process. Library. We've talked a lot about library, or you've read about it in the news. Basically, where are we in the process right now? The county had submitted another offer to the city following the city's offer last time, and what we're sitting at now is we're waiting for the county's or the city's answer to our offer. The county's offer was to pay for the capital improvements to the library building downtown, And we would do that. It's about $600,000 worth of capital improvements that we would make to the city-owned building, where the city is basically the landlord in the library contract situation, and the county's job in this arrangement that we've had for decades was basically to operate the library, to pay for its utilities, and keep that mission alive, buy the materials, pay for the staff, and so on. And where we are now then is city is considering whether or not they would like the county then on this offer to pay for those capital improvements, such as a new heating and cooling system for the library, and the roof needs to be attended to, take care of those kinds of things in lieu of any rent that the city may want to charge the county for a period of at least 10 years. We'll see how that turns out as we continue through the negotiations process. It's important to note that not every county in the state of Wisconsin operates a library system like we do in Portage County. We have a centralized, more coordinated system, so our main branch library is downtown, as you know, and then we have branches in Plover, Almond, and the village of Rosholt as well. The Amherst Library is one that the village of Amherst has chosen to fund and operate on their own. And that's the way that some communities do it. Other communities have it, or counties do it sometimes, where the county pays for all of the branches of the library, and including the facilities. So basically where we've come to some challenges along the negotiations time frame here was that the city didn't want to continue the partnership that we had been living by for many, many decades here in Portage County. That is, again, that the city would basically own them and take care of the building as a landlord would, and then the county contribution would be to pay for all the operations. So that's what's the recent story on our library negotiations. Now I think that does it for the news, and I would like to turn to my guest, Paul Baker, Emergency Management Director of Portage County. Welcome, Paul.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yay, it's a perfect time of year to have you with us on the show for lots of reasons, and one of them is I hate to say it, first day of fall this week, right? We're all going to have to get ready for winter. We'll talk about a little bit about winter preparedness later in the interview that we have together here. But I would like to first welcome you to Portage County. You're a relatively new staff member here, and you've hit the ground running. And I'd love to have everybody get to know you a little bit more, and tell us maybe about yourself and what your background is. I think they're going to find it really interesting. I know I do.
My background is pretty much public safety. I spent most of my career in law enforcement and fire service and some EMS. Throughout the years, I've progressed up the chain of command to get to the position of a captain, where I actually retired from and then continued working in the emergency management field. And as of about 90 days ago, I came to Portage County.
Yeah, we're happy to have you.
Thank you. It's been a great experience working with the citizens, the community leaders, just everybody in the picture is just fantastic to work with, and very open-minded, and we've been doing very well getting on our feet for the first 90 days.
I'll be honest with you. You know, I'm at Towns Association on Monday night, and the chair of Towns Association is Mike Pagel, a well-respected individual in our community, and we were talking about EMS for those couple of hours I told you about and told everybody about. And he had said, how many of you have met Paul Baker, our new emergency management director? And do you know how many hands went up from how many municipalities? We have something like 21 or 22 or more municipalities that are often in the room, and so many hands went up, and I thought, that's Paul. Paul's been out in the field. He's been meeting all the folks and letting them know what Portage County Emergency Management can do for them and how to work in partnership.
And I have. I've spent a lot of time out in the field getting to know people and hearing their stories, and some good, some bad. But the important thing is to get to know them face to face before anything would happen, and for them to know that they can rely on us at the county to help them through those tough times as they occur.
Sure. So tell everybody who probably doesn't know very much maybe about what does the mission of emergency management really involve?
Emergency management is a very broad department. We are kind of the jack of all trades. We take care of some non-emergency events depending on what the community is calling for. We also respond to maybe a mid-level response on an emergency in the event that the local resources just need a little assistance. And of course, anytime there's either a natural disaster or a man-made disaster, we would respond and help unify the command structure of that and then become a resource to those communities to get them what they really need.
So let's talk about what are some examples of man-made or natural disasters, just to make sure we're all on the same lingo. And then also some of those non-emergencies versus emergencies. Can you help everybody understand?
Sure. Non-emergencies are really, you have seen, we have a booth out at different events that we give free handouts out and talk with people and try to send the message out that this is an agency that's kind of in the background, but we're there when people need us or when resources are needed. An emergency could be a large emergency where there's multiple victims, like in a school bus accident or something of that needs, where additional resources are needed, as well as a unified command, getting all the command leaders together to function as one. So we're trying to get out to as many activities as time allows us to do just that.
So talk about how do you in the emergency management operation work with other municipalities, like the city or like a township or a village?
Well, to start out with, we went out and met those folks and had taken time to meet the mayor and the chiefs of the departments so that we knew face to face who I am and who they are and so forth. Primarily, it's any time that they get to a point in an event that they need additional resources, all they have to do is let our 911 center know, and we are dispatched to the scene to help them at that point. If the disaster got too large of an event, say a tornado or something of that nature, we would then open the emergency operations center at the sheriff's office, and we would work out of there with some of those leaders and special disciplines to help get our community back intact.
And we abbreviate the Emergency Operations Center as EOC, so if we accidentally use the acronym during the show, everybody will know what that is. You're working hard to upgrade our Emergency Operations Center in Portage County. There are some opportunities for us to continue to make it even more of a disaster-ready, place. And we know that we responded to the 100-year flood and then the next flood after that in the spring of 2010 and then 2011. And we had to come together and there were lots of lessons learned, so we're continuing to build on those. But talk with folks about communities and EOCs right now related to, the likelihood or the frequency of man-made or other or natural disasters, and why are we making these investments in emergency operations centers today more than before?
Well, the world has opened up to be a tougher place, and no town or no area is less threatened than the others. Small town America is likely to be a target before maybe even a bigger city. So what we're doing is improving the way we do business, bringing more of technology in so that we can handle business easier, training our EOC staff to handle that, just simple computers if they're not familiar with it, different things of that nature, working with our public information officers to get that information out to the public as much as we can. The Emergency Operations Center is not opened on every emergency. The majority of those we handle right at the scene, whether it's from the back of an incident commander's vehicle or our mobile command center that's located in Pulver that we're part of. We roll those kind of tools out to the scene to help take care of that, and then we move on from there.
So, wow, I think about the responsibility that must be on your shoulders.
Well, there's a lot. There's a lot going on, and we manage it well. I'm not an office of one. I have a deputy director and then two part-time people that oversee our emergency medical services. So we do have some help there, as well as meeting the chiefs out, the fire chiefs out in the communities and working with them. Last night we had a hazardous material spill a little after 11 o'clock at night. I was notified of it through our 911 center like I was supposed to. It was small enough that our hazmat team in the county was able to neutralize it and take care of it. But right away we're notified of those type of things because they can grow faster and they can consume a lot of resources, and we want to make sure that while those resources are busy on one scene, we're bringing in support to back up in case we have a second event, and that's always possible. Sure.
That I did want to talk about hazmat, hazardous materials management, and the role that emergency management plays. Would you talk a little bit about that, please?
Yes. Once a hazardous material incident occurs, immediately the local jurisdiction fire department is dispatched to the scene. Once they get there and see and basically give a needs assessment to what's going on, they'll call emergency management, and our part is a twofold. Once we try to first get everybody together that's in leadership, and we make a unified command, so we're making one good decision after another good decision, and we're making it together. It just puts a lot of minds thinking of the same thing. You know, at that point, if additional resources are needed, emergency management starts making a call from the resource manuals that we have and bringing in those type of things that are needed. And that even may include the EPA, it could include the Department of Natural Resources, even hierarchy depending on big spill and location and so forth. Not every hazardous material spill is an hour long. Some can go for days, as we know. I've been fortunate enough to be involved in a couple different presidential disasters, one being
or unfortunate enough, I'm not sure which.
Yep, the right place at the wrong time, I think.
Yeah.
Where 800,000 gallons of crude oil was spilled into a stretch of a river that lasted 40 miles. And that was 6 years ago, and the remission of that is still happening today. The rivers being entrenched and taking care of people's properties, the wildlife. I mean, it went on and on. It was a very, very intense operation. But that helps me bring experience to the table. And in meeting our chiefs and getting them to unify and getting the job done saves the taxpayers, saves time, saves energy, and we're able to get it cleaned up and we move on.
It's like you are the front line and waiting, you know?
And that's really a good way to put it, because we're a 24/7, 365 operation. If I'm not available, my deputy director is available. So there always is somebody in the emergency management office at the county that is ready to go out. Some things we can discuss over the phone with the incident commander because he just has a few questions, or there's times where they need us on site and it doesn't matter what time it is, we get up and go. That's the service we provide from the county to those locations that need it, because it's important to them to have that resource, and it's important to us to get them that resource.
Talk about prevention. You know, of course, we want to do everything we can to be ready and to have prevented in the first place what could be a disaster on the other end. Talk about that, and also about business readiness and then individual readiness, because I want to make sure that we talk about both of those.
It's unfortunate that we cannot get out to our public and private schools enough to get that information to the kids, get them flyers. It's like drilling for a fire drill at home. Well, preparing for a disaster can be the same way. You know, we encourage families to get together and build a go kit. And that might be a change of clothes for everybody. It may be some of their medicines. It could be anything. It could be a couple bags of dog food so they can take their dog to a shelter if needed. You know, anything that would sustain them for 72 hours, we want them to be prepared for, even in their home, having canned foods or some type of water to sustain a time of 72 hours. We kind of use
power's out and so on and so forth.
Yeah, usually within 72 hours we can have some power back up. It all depends on how that goes. Business continuity with our local business is huge, because these businesses make a living by what they either sell or the product they perform. and they need to be prepared for just doing that same thing. Obviously, if we had a major outage of power, people are going to be looking for generators. Well, you just shouldn't plug in a generator and let it run. You should have a separate hookup at your home from a certified electrician so that it's properly done, so there's going to be no fire, no danger to your family. But we want them to be able to get back on their feet in that first 72 hours. Now, continuity at the county level, we go through all of our departments and we make some tough choices which departments need to get up in service first, either because of a state statute law or because it serves the public. So we have to make some of those tough choices at the Emergency Operations Center on how we're getting county government back up to do the best we can as quick as we can, and then project out from there. Some departments may not need to be operable for a couple days. Others need to be operable within a couple hours.
Yeah, great point. Now, let's get the website in here, or websites that we would want to refer people to should they want more information and they can get into a computer to do so.
You can do it right at Portage County.
Okay.
Portage County, we have a department listing. Go down to Emergency Management, click on that. It'll give you fantastic information. You can get that same information from the FEMA site, FEMA.gov, or you can go to the Red Cross. The Red Cross has a vast amount of information out there that's available, all free of charge like ours is. And I would say during a disaster, if you can view television at this point, keep watching our site, because we'll keep posting information, even on our Facebook site, constantly of what's going on and what can be expected.
Excellent. Now, when we talk about business continuity, I think one of the things you do is you get out and you analyze, or you inventory what kind of chemicals we have where. I mean, chemicals are part of a lot of our business operations. And so I think you got logs that come back to your office that you then are linked to some state or federal network on, aren't you?
That's correct. There are federal sites and regulated by the states where we collect, at this point, we're collecting 46 different companies in our community that have a threshold of chemical that fits into an area that they have to report. It's an annual report, and it's not a scenario that if I want to do it this year, it has to be done. We have one person dedicated to that responsibility, and we chase those folks down. We'll go out to the scene and we'll help them if they need help, but we've got to get that information in. And as well as they also have to post it on a state website, so the state of Wisconsin's getting that information and using that to the federal government as well. It's just consistently going on every year, and those duties continue. We keep updating.
We've got maybe another minute and a half or so in the show, and I want to get a couple of points in about winter preparedness. So what would you say to folks?
I would tell people to, number one, stock their homes in case we don't have electric. You may look at some type of safe kerosene heaters or something of that nature you can buy at any local store. Prepare yourself with that to-go kit. In the event we need to open a shelter, we would offer that shelter where you could take your family. It may be just a warming center where you just get out of the weather and get warm, or it could be a shelter, two different types, where you can spend days there staying warm with your family together and so forth. So that to-go kit is something good to have. A simple backpack with items in it, or a tote bag, anything that you could put your family's well-beings in it, and also stuff for your pets. You know, domestic pets are a big deal. We also work with our animal sheltering and stuff like that so that we can put our domestic pets somewhere or with the families if it's possible.
Wow, and they can get the same information at those websites. We'll have it at the bottom of the
And if they don't have
screen here.
a way to get it from the website, stop out the local Red Cross office or our office at the annex building at the county.
Wonderful. Paul, I really appreciate what you do, the way that you're standing by for us every day, just that silent kind of hero behind the scenes. I hope we never need to see you in full action out there, but if we do, I have every confidence in you, and I'm so glad to have you here on the staff.
Wonderful to be here.
So next month for Portage County Matters, it'll be the month of Veterans Day. And next month, we're going to talk about how we find veterans jobs in Portage County and Central Wisconsin and other veteran services we have to offer. Thanks for joining us today.